Just 1 minute.
As, as a young citizen of India, armed with technology, knowledge, and love for my nation, with a vision of transforming India into a developed nation, I'm joining Shobhit University. What about you?
Very good morning to all the participants from India and abroad. Shobhit Institute of Engineering and Technology, Meerut, and its Centers of Excellence, Center for Agricultural Informatics and E-Governance Research Studies, and Center for Agribusiness and Disaster Management Studies extend greetings to all the participants from India and abroad who are attending today's national webinar series on doubling farmers' income by 2022, Atmanirbhar Bharat in Agriculture. This webinar is being hosted on every Thursday at 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Today there was some delay by 10 minutes. Please bear with us. Today is 14th July 2022. The webinar is on very important topic, doubling Indian farmers' income through indigenous cows, opportunities and challenges, by Mr. Asim Rawat, founder, Heta Organics. On behalf of the Honorable Chancellor, Honorable Vice Chancellor, and the faculty members of the university, and on my behalf, and as Professor Emeritus and Chairman of the Centers of Excellence, Center for Agricultural Informatics and E-Governance Research Studies, Center for Agribusiness and Disaster Management Studies, Center for Informatics Development Solutions and Applications, Center for Industry 4.0 Technology Studies and Application, and Center for Health Informatics and Computing. Let me welcome today's guest speaker to deliver the talk in the 84th edition of this national webinar series, Mr. Asim Rawat. For the benefits of the participants and the guest speaker, so far under this webinar series, the university has organized 83 webinars on the topic, relevant topic. Role of agricultural cooperative societies and e-governance. We have 1 lakh primary agriculture cooperative societies, 1.5 lakh dairy cooperative societies, 22,000 primary fisher cooperative societies. If e-governance is introduced and with the blockchain technology, these cooperative societies can work as a very good value chain for the members of these societies. Blockchain technology based fishery value chain, a self-contained village, felt need of the day. Spices Informatics Network value chain, Lantana camera, a camouflaged treasure trove. Smart Hill Agriculture, a digitalized hill agricultural value system. Mera Mobile, Mera Marketing. Integrated Mariculture, Aquaponics, and Precision Agriculture, MAPA Biofarms for income revolution. Smart Tribal Agriculture, optimizing value chains. Digital Agri-Tech and Industry Perspective. Land Resources Information System in India, present and road ahead. Weather decision technologies for increasing farm income. Big data in smart farming. Sustainable soil and land management for climate smart agriculture. Understanding market dynamics for increasing farm income. Role of technologies in mitigating crop risk. How to generate additional profit via simple, attractive approaches in farm produce. Adoption of flexi rubber check dam technology, potential benefit for farmers in rain-fed and coastal agro ecosystems. Realizing the economic benefits of agroforestry. Octosol organic humic solutions for increasing crop yields and quality while increasing farm income and improving soil health. Closing nutrient loop, phosphorus management in protein farming, improving nutrient use efficiency and farm productivity. Artificial intelligence enabled pest management technology for agricultural crop protection without pesticides. Empowering farmers through extension and knowledge dissemination, role of mass media. Poultry monitoring, smart poultry monitoring solutions, agrobiodiversity, intellectual property laws, agriculture and farmers' welfare, and insight into the issues for Indians' agrarian economy, manufacture and application of biochar for increased soil fertility and crop productivity, sustainable integration of livestock with agriculture for farm income increase, role of geographical indications on improving farmers' income, lessons from Asia Pacific region, dairy informatics network value chain, a dairy tech startups perspective for farmers' income increase, spices informatics network value chain, a turmeric startup perspective for farmers' income increase, generating sustainable on-farm income through fintech intervention, nutrition sensitive agriculture pathway for increasing farmers' income, artificial intelligence and data analytics to ensure optimal nutrition in the soil, harvested food that minimizes human disease, bioenergy supply chain, a business opportunity for rural enterprises and farmer produce organizations, tech enabling India's tech starved farmers for manifold increase in productivity and income, open insurance ecosystem for agriculture producers, risk management solutions to overcome repercussions on farmers' income, market stability, and food safety. Role of mass media for farmers' income increase, a case study from Green TV. Extract open source digital infrastructure for the agriculture ecosystem, a Linux Foundation project. Circular bioeconomy towards resilience, urgent need for redefining raw materials and modified waste management policies and regulations. Agritech New Horizon in Indian agriculture. Supporting of farmers for marketing will only help doubling of income by 2022. Rural transformation for farmers' income increase, case studies from impoverished districts. Mobile enabled software as a service to solve complex supply chain challenges, a case study from daily orders. John Deere's journey in India, integrated precision agriculture solutions. Doubling the income of farmers through eco-agri revolution. Bayer's carbon farming initiatives. Post-production intervention, maximizing value for farmers. BAFE models of revival of traditional water management systems to enable doubling of farmers' income should be adopted to farmers' welfare as a new paradigm instead of farmers' income. ICT intervention in agriculture challenges and opportunities, democratizing the future of farming, a global experience. Commercial processing of orders, the next game changer in dairying, data-driven agriculture and agri-tech startup perspective, agribusiness potentials in Moringa, agricultural income pathway, strengthening links between agricultural activities and nutrition outcomes, technology, education, research and rehabilitation for the environment, cultivating dignity for farmers, model village development programs, a case study from Maharashtra, market-driven agriculture, need for development of crop-specific strategies at block level, farmer collective and with value addition, powerful business model for income increase for small and marginal farmers. Lessons from Operation Flood for transforming agriculture and food systems. Sustainable food production. Agriculture marketing in India, defects therein and remedial measures if any. Small-scale fisheries and their contribution to rural livelihoods, case studies from developing countries. Impacting lives through livelihood promotion and value chain development, case study of Vritti impact model. Organic spices cultivation for doubling of farmers' income in northeast region of India, a value chain analysis. Agriculture exports management, imperatives of integrating with the global value chain at the earliest. Agriculture value chain challenges and opportunities. dairy husbandry for food security and national prosperity, mushroom cultivation, a way towards self-reliance from agriculture waste and providing nutritional food security to this nation. Subhas Palekar, natural farming, future of farming rooted in Indian tradition. Vision 2025, agriculture and allied sector viewpoint, doubling income, doubling income of rural tribal families through value chain intervention on minor forest producer. A case study on custard apple value chain from Udaipur, Rajasthan. Unnati Agri, internet in farmlands kept key for prosperous farmers. Jackfruit Informatics network value chain, a needed digital infrastructure for increasing farmers' income. Doubling of farmers' income through integrated agri value chains. Potential role of minor fruits in achieving nutritional and livelihood security. Fisheries potential role of minor fruits in achieving nutritional and livelihood security. Fisheries Informatic Network value chain, a case study from Manja Technologies. Untapped potential for growth, co-create solutions to realize gains for farms, households, and communities. Neem tree sustainable solution to livelihood, chemical-free nutritious food, and global warming. One district, one product informatics network value chain, the key to unlocking India's potential agri-exports. Village e-commerce, challenges, barriers, and potential in rural India. Export promotion of GI-tagged agricultural products from India, issues, challenges, and potentials. Today is the 84th edition of this national webinar series, which will be addressed by Mr. Asim Rawat, founder Heta Organics, on a very important topic, doubling Indian farmers' income through indigenous cows, opportunities and challenges. Dear participants, please note the keywords: doubling Indian farmers' income, indigenous cows, opportunities and challenges. India is said to be a land of villages. Acharya Vinoba Bhave said, India is largely an agricultural country and a country of villages having more than 6.25 lakhs villages. It is the foundation of Indian economy. It employs more than 50% of India's workforce and contributes almost 19% of its GDP. At present, agricultural livelihoods are being severely impacted world over as a result of anthropogenic global warming and climate change. Climate change has both direct and indirect effects on agricultural productivity, including changing rainfall patterns, severe droughts, flooding, and changes in the geographical risk distribution of pests and diseases. India's labor-intensive and subsistence-based agriculture sector is particularly vulnerable to this development. Indian farmers are facing multidimensional problems: price fluctuation, debt, lack of infrastructure, and weather. Indian farming community comprises of about 14.5 crores operational holdings, of which 85% of the farmers have small and marginal size operational holdings. They need timely, location-specific, and personalized information for effective control on their production, risk, and then market their produce to identified market opportunities. And according to Dr. Christopher Barrett, who teaches applied economics and management in Cornell University, USA, he says there are three forms of hunger encompassing half the world now, deepening poverty over generations: undernourishment, micronutrient deficiencies, and obesity. And also said COVID-19 has exacerbated global hunger, which is also impacted by strife and climate change. Agriculture extensification into forest and wetlands, having reservoir of zoonosis, has caused 50% of zoonotic diseases among the humans recently. This is as per the report published in Times of India dated 25th September 2021. Many national level programs, Digital India, Make in India, Skill India, Startup India, and Stand Up India programs have faced operational difficulties for its impact at farm level and farmer level, and that too at small and marginal farmers. On 28th February 2016, while addressing a farmers' rally in Bareilly, Uttar Pradesh, our Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, said, I quote, "My dream is to see farmers double their income by 2022 when the country completes 75 years of independence." So and also on 15th August 2021, Honorable Prime Minister said in his Independence Day address, in the coming years, we will have to increase the collective power of small farmers of the country. We have to give them new facilities and they must become country's pride. Chota Kisan, Bane Desh Ki Shan. Small farmers become the pride of the nation. And afterwards, doubling farmers' income by 2022, National Committee Task Force was set up under the chairmanship of Dr. Ashok Dalwai, and this committee has submitted its report in the month of September 2018. I have been closely associated with this report and chaired as a group leader for 2 volumes. Volume 11, which talks about empowering the farmers through extension and knowledge dissemination through ICT, and volume 12B, digital technology in agriculture. And it talks about complete digitalization of Indian agriculture system through 7 mission mode programs, and digitalized agriculture, digital technology and innovation in agriculture, synergization of Digital India, Make in India, Skill India and Startup India programs for transformational reforms in agriculture through smart irrigated farming, smart rainfed farming and smart tribal farming, number 1. Number 2, digitalized agromet advisories and agricultural risk management solutions. Number 3, digitalized agricultural resources information system and micro level planning for achieving smart village and smart farming. Number 4, digitalized value chain for about 400 agriculture commodities. Digitalized access to inputs, technology, knowledge, skill, agricultural finance, credit, marketing and agribusiness management to farmers. And digitalized integrated land and water management system, per drop more crop, and digitalized farm health management for reduction of farmers' loss. The last one is very important, and this talks about the integrated approach for farm health management. Farmers' health, that is human health, plant health, animal health, soil health, water health, fish health, and environmental health. This is a $1 trillion data economy. If on a particular place of a village, if through GIS technology, and if we are able to map this data from these vertical silos of these health informatics parameters, human health, plant health, animal health, soil health, water health, fish health, and environmental health, and we don't have to go for lockdown hereafter for any situation. It is a $1 trillion data economy, and India should lead it. I see a situation from 10 to 15 years from now, there can be a data center with 5,000 data scientists working only on health data. And see to that, every nook and corner of the world, and how to go for integrated health management system, decision support system. And Atmanirbhar Bharat, the road ahead, it is the vision of our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi, of making India a self-reliant nation, rested on 5 I's: intent, inclusion, investment, infrastructure, and innovation. Based on 5 pillars: quantum jump in economy, not incremental; infrastructure, one that represents modern India; system, 21st century, technology-driven; vibrant demography, demand whereby the strength of our demand and supply chain should be utilized to full capacity; and vocal for local, and make in India for globalization. And these reforms announced have been systematic, planned, integrated, interconnected, and futuristic for creating strong enterprises, generating employment, and robust supply chain. And in the third tranche of Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, agriculture sector has got a booster through 1.5 lakh crore announcement. 1 lakh crore to agriculture cooperative societies, farmer produce organization, and startups for boosting farm gate infrastructure, 10,000 crores for formalization of micro food enterprises and for following cluster-based farming approaches, 13,000 crores to achieve 100% vaccination of cattle, buffaloes, sheep, goats, and pigs, and 15,000 crores for animal husbandry infrastructure, and 10,000 crore and 20,000 crores for Prime Minister's Matsya Sambada Yojana to pay way for additional fish production of 70 lakhs tons over 5 years. And we also have now a strategic plan for achieving New India, or to usher in New India, Amrit Kal, led up to 100. That is for the next 25 years, from India at 75 to India at 100. And we have Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations and Agenda 2030 that gives the future we want, 17 Sustainable Development Goals and 169 targets to be achieved. And this is in this connection, today's topic is very important: doubling Indian farmers' income through indigenous cows, opportunities and challenges in the national webinar series, and doubling farmers' income by 2022. And value chain development is very important. Value chain brings all stakeholders engaged in the production system on a common platform to contribute their best while ensuring fair deal and transparency. Value chain includes all the input suppliers, technology delivering agencies, scientists indirectly engaged in developing appropriate technologies, and extension officers who are involved in capacity building and providing various services to the farmers. Stakeholders involved in post-production activities are the agencies organizing collection, grading, storage, transportation, processing, and marketing of the produce. This is a holistic and market-driven view of the entire value chain from consumer to supplier, creates the right environment for sector-wide employment. Developing rural e-commerce, trends and challenges. Rural e-commerce means one of two things. One, e-commerce involving rural products, that is a platform for rural producers and traders to sell their products beyond their local markets. Or two, e-commerce intended for rural customers, which may contain products from all over the world. Vocal for local and to make it for global. That is very important. Rural e-commerce can facilitate one village, one product scheme as announced in Japan 1979 and by Yogi Adityanath administration in Uttar Pradesh, one district, one product. Then the scheme has been scaled up to the 753 districts in the country, and one district, one agriculture commodity has been visualized. And that's why the University Shobhit Institute of Engineering Technology, through these two centers of excellence, working with various NGOs through capacity building and competency building through an MBA in agribusiness management and MTech in agricultural informatics program, PG diploma and diploma, to bring in digitalized agriculture commodity value chain, one commodity per districts in the country. And issues in rural e-commerce. There are several challenges in rural e-commerce. Some challenges are common as e-commerce in general, such as inadequacies in infrastructure, transport and logistic, issues in supply chain, that is quality of procurement, storage and transport of goods, problems in payment systems, delivery issues, and security issues, security of online payment, digital literacy, and information asymmetry. Doubling of income, Indian farmers' income through indigenous cow, opportunities and challenges. That is today's topic. And I would like to quote some of the published documents, for benefiting the farmers, and also derive some inputs towards our today's topic. Doubling the farmers' income by 2022 is a very challenging task because the land holding size of farmer is decreasing continuously. And at the same time, human population increasing very rapidly, which necessitates the situation to look forward to the animal husbandry sector. The income of farmers can be doubled by adopting the recent technology in livestock sector, like increasing the coverage of artificial insemination, improving animal productivity through grading up and crossbreeding, betterment of healthcare services, feeds and fodders bank development, climate resilient housing, and feeding practices and value addition of milk and meat products. Apart from this, various schemes such as ARYA, READY, National Livestock Mission, Rashtriya Gokul Mission, Kisan Credit Cards, Farmers Federation, NGOs, and women self-help group are also useful in doubling the farmers' income. Animal husbandry department also play an important role in the dissemination of technical knowledge about farming practices, protecting animals from the most economically important diseases like foot and mouth disease, HS, BQ, PPR, and anthrax, and creating awareness among the farming community regarding benefits of diversified farming. This is from an article written by Shailendra Rajak, Abhishek Singh, and Aravind Singh and Kundu. Is the prospects of animal husbandry in doubling farmers' income by 2022. There is another article, Hurdles and Strategies for Dairy Sector of India in Doubling Farmers' Income. India is contributing to about 20.2% to the world milk production, and we are growing at the annual rate of about 5.7% consistently over the last 5 years. Dairying is an important economic activity which contributes to about 67% of the value of output of the livestock sector. Income from dairying contributes to about 25% of the income of small and marginal farmers. Dairy development is therefore very important development intervention in rural India for achieving agricultural growth with equity. With limited resources, environmental constraints, and a huge animal population with low productivity, the only way we can continue to maintain our self-sufficiency in milk and double farmers' income is by introducing efficiencies at all levels in the dairy value chain. Is very important observation. Throughout India, though India ranks first in milk production, but in order to remain in this position, it needs to take care of farmers' produce right from production till it reaches to the consumers. By giving value addition to the milk, the income of the farmers can be increased. Therefore, government should work to strengthen the web of processing industries at the grassroots level. You take an example. Currently, New Zealand is standing in first position in the world with respect to the processing of milk and milk products, whereas India has less than 20% of milk being processed. Therefore, if our purpose is to increase farmers' income through the more way, then if our purpose is to increase farmers' income, then the more weightage should be given in developing industrial base in this sector. Encouraging processing and developing value chains will help in generating non-farm jobs for in rural areas. Non-farm jobs in rural areas. Today, milk is the single most valued crop in terms of money in India. Farmers' income can be doubled easily if we adopt dairy farming with good management practices along with marketing strategies. This is from an article written by Dr. Rajesh Kumar Singh, dated 26th November 2020. On 2nd July 2022, I had an talk. We had a talk in the international webinar series on open source digital technologies for self-reliant India, Atmanirbhar Bharat, by Dr. Sindhura Ganapathy. He is the visiting PSA fellow in the Office of Principal Scientific Advice to the Government of India, and also the visiting, faculty in the Hook, in Penn State University, and on the topic Health Informatics Network Value Chain, Building of One Health Ecosystem, Role of Digital Architecture. And he talks about that livestock sector is critical for India. It has got major livestock population. Cattle 190 million, buffaloes 110 million, poultry 18 million, and sheep 74 million, goats 15 million, pigs 10 million, and 160 billion dairy industry, 12% CAGR, and net exporter 400 million dairy products, $400 million from through dairy products, 3.3 billion dollars through buffalo meat is annually. And this is the livestock sector supports the bottom of economic pyramid. 280 million plus farmers deriving livelihood from livestock. 280 million plus farmers deriving livelihood from livestock. But he talks about it. There are many challenges limiting the potential. Largely unorganized and fragmented. Many national level schemes that operate in silos at the grassroots level. Major diseases affect farmers' livelihoods, growth of the sector, and limits export. Need for robust disease surveillance and importance of One Health approach. Not mature regulatory ecosystems compared to the human health systems. Minimal private sector participation. Most of the field and administrative operations are paper-based and hence limit the power of data aggregation and analytics and broader data access. And 2010-2012, when I was in service as the Deputy Director General National Informatics Center, I was instrumental in operationalizing 7,032 nodes of national animal disease reporting systems in the country. And I'm very happy that after various other hectic delays and activities, now the government is now announced National Digital Livestock Mission. It's very important. And the National Digital Livestock Mission is to create a farmer-centric, technology-enabled ecosystem where the farmers are able to realize better income through livestock activities with the right information and enabling infrastructure to obtain timely, high-quality service and access to markets as a result of well-functioning, connected systems that optimize for sustainable economic opportunities and health of both the animals and the people. And way back in 2000 January, I was as the head of the Agricultural Informatics Division of the National Informatics Center, working with the Ministry of Agriculture, proposed a national animal production and health informatics network systems, APH network. And National Digital Livestock Mission, it is an end-to-end digital architecture for animal husbandry. I'm very happy to hear this one after 20 years. And livestock sector is poised for a major leap after implementation of National Digital Livestock Mission, where the farmers are able to realize better income through livestock activities with the right information. Indigenous cattle and the buffalo breeds of India. Of the more than 800 cattle breeds recognized worldwide, according to the documents available in Wikipedia, India had 27 acknowledged indigenous breeds of cattle and 7 breeds of buffaloes. But according to the websites of www.nddb.cooperative and www.dahd.nic.in, that is the website of the Department of Animal Husbandry and Dairying, it says that India has been blessed with a large repository of indigenous bovine population with rich biodiversity. There are 50 well-defined breeds of cattle and 17 breeds of buffaloes. These breeds have evolved over generations, surviving due to their adaptability to harsh climatic conditions. ability to perform on poor quality feed and fodder, resistance to disease, etc. Adult males of some native breeds are also known for their draft qualities. Thus, these indigenous breeds are well adapted to our existing agroclimatic conditions and are resistant to many tropical diseases and can survive and produce on marginal and poor fed and fodder resources. Some of these breeds are well known for their high milk and fat production. However, the production potential of these animals have deteriorated over a period of time due to lack of selection. In recent times, several of the indigenous breeds suffered decline mainly due to their becoming uneconomical. Drought breeds utility has decreased because of mechanization in agriculture. The local breeds have the following breeds over exotic breeds: better disease resistance than exotic breeds, more suitable for low input management systems, survive better in local environment, suitable for drought work. In addition, existence of superior indigenous breeds can provide valuable research inputs for developing superior breeds. It is therefore important that indigenous breeds of cattle are conserved, developed, and proliferated, and it needs a reliable database to be developed with regard to all details of indigenous breeds, including their breeding tracts, numbers, characterization, gene makeup, and the institutional form where they are being preserved and are conserved. National level database for cattle and buffalo developed by National Dairy Development Board may be utilized for this purpose. According to the note from the Department of Animal Husbandry and Dairy, a breeding network should be set up by computerizing and networking all artificial insemination outlets, semen station, breeding farm, and kausala. Rashtriya Gokul Mission is being implemented for development and conservation of indigenous bovine breeds since December 2014. The scheme is very important in enhancing milk production and productivity of bovines to meet growing demand of milk and making dairying more remunerative to the rural farmers of the country. The scheme is also continued under umbrella scheme Rashtriya Pashudhan Vikas Yojana from 2021 to 2026 with a budget outlay of rupees 2,400 crores. The Rashtriya Gokul Mission will result in enhanced productivity and benefit of the programs percolating to all cattle and buffaloes of India, especially with small and marginal farmers. This program will also benefit women in particular, since over 70% of the work involved in livestock farming is undertaken by women. The objective of this mission is to enhance productivity of bovines and increasing milk production in a sustainable manner using advanced technologies, to prepare use of high genetic merit bulls for breeding purposes, to enhance artificial insemination coverage through strengthening breeding network and delivery of artificial insemination services at farmers' doorstep, to promote indigenous cattle and buffalo rearing and conservation in a scientific and holistic manner. The Rashtriya Kamadhenu Ayog has been constituted on 21st February 2019. It is a high-powered permanent apex advisory body, Rashtriya Kamadhenu Ayog, with a mandate to help the central government to develop appropriate programs for conservation, suitable development, and genetic upgradation of indigenous breeds of cows. It functions as an integral part of Rashtriya Gokul Mission. It's an agency under the Department of Animal Husbandry and Dairying, Ministry of Fisheries, Animal Husbandry Dairying, established for the protection of cows. And I also would like to quote another talk by Dr. Narayan Hegde, former president of the BAFE Research Development Foundation, on the national webinar series on doubling farmers' income by 2022 on a topic dairy husbandry for food security and national prosperity on 17th March 2022. And he says that we should reach to the poor. And he quotes dairy development by the BAFE Research Development Foundation. It has a coverage. The center has a coverage of 12 to 15 villages, 15,000 families, 1,500 to 2,000 cows or buffaloes. Artificial insemination at the doorsteps. Focus on small farmers. Conservation of native breeds. Support services, vaccination. Minor vet care. Advice on feeding and forage production. Development of local organization. Outcome: number of centers 4,500 in 16 states, covering 50 lakh families in 1 lakh villages. Number of artificial insemination carried out 45 lakhs per year. Cows and buffaloes in production 25 lakhs. Value of milk produced 15,000 crores per year. Program is self-sustainable in 5 years. Production of high-yielding progeny by breeding uneconomical animals. And Department of Biotechnology and National Institute of Animal Biotechnology has developed Indigo SNP chip to conserve germplasm of indigenous cow breeds. It's very important development. And it is the largest cattle ship of the world with 11,498 markets, more than that of a famous 777 K Illumina chip of US and UK breeds. And till now, Indian researchers and dairy development programs have been referring to SNP chips, which are developed for foreign Western breeds of cattle. This chip will help in analyzing all breeds of cows and help in identifying pure undisturbed germplasm of cows and bulls, which can be segregated to conserve pure varieties of cattle like Gir, Concrete, Sahiwal, Ongole, and so etc. Ongole, etc. And with this introduction, let me now turn to the address by Mr. Ashim Rawat, founder Heta Organic, on the topic doubling income for Indian farmers' income through indigenous cows, opportunities and challenges. This topic will motivate and galvanize the participants watching our telecast through facebook.com/Shobhit University or youtube.com/Shobhit University in or linkedin.com/company/Shobhit University for establishing agri-value chain based indigenous cows and Nandi bulls based on Heta Organics, for establishing agri-value chain based indigenous cows and Nandi bulls based on Heta Organics to promote chain for local to make it global mission. Let us unlock the opportunities in India at the earliest. Let me introduce the guest speaker to the audience. Mr. Manish, can we put the profile? Mr. Ashim Rawat has 13 years of experience, 13 plus years of software industry experience in India and abroad, and worked with Usha Communication Technologies, Hewlett Packard, Nest Technologies India Private Limited, and Vivix India Private Limited, a healthcare analytics platform. He founded Heta in October 2015 with the idea to build an ethical company around indigenous cows, which runs without a donation, but by manufacturing products from cow milk, cow urine, cow dung. And Heta has over 1,000 plus indigenous cows and bulls of Gir, Sahiwal, Parker, and Himalayan Badri breed, and are functional from 3 sites: Ghaziabad, Bulandshahr, and Uttarakhand. Heta does organic farming using only a cow dung from indigenous bulls and cows and grow wheat, rice, millets, and pulses. Over 95 plus products are manufactured and sold in India and abroad. Mr. Ashim Rawat had his 12th education from La Martiniere College, Lucknow, B. Computer Science from RBS College, Agra, post-graduation from International Information Technology, International Institute of Information Technology, Hyderabad, and also has certified fitness trainer from ISSA. He is an entrepreneur, manager, motivational speaker, writer, open source enthusiast, fitness trainer, off reader, cow breeder, and organic farmer. And with this, I would like to invite Mr. Asim Rawat to address the national webinar series on doubling farmers' income by 2022, Atmanirbhar Bharat in agriculture, and a very important topic, doubling Indian farmers' income through indigenous cows, opportunities and challenges. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Professor Moni. I appreciate the in-depth data that you shared. It's always a pleasure listening to you and collating facts. You always come prepared, and I had an opportunity to basically listen to your topics in one of the earlier encounters we had, and was very, very pleased to see how detailed information basically is collated by you. So thank you once again for this warm welcome and sharing my small biodata. I hope I'll make sense. I'll try to do my best. And so let's get started with the first slide. So as Professor Moni was sharing, and he's been very kind in allowing me the space to share my thoughts on how we could double farmers' income through indigenous cows. The topic is very simple. We will have opportunities and we have challenges. So we move on to the next slide. Thank you. So what's the idea behind HITA? So I am a software engineer, as was seen in my biodata. I had around 13 years of experience. I come from a middle class family. So the whole idea was to have education, and the education should be connected to a job. So I moved in, and I liked computer science. It was an upcoming topic, and I had deep interest in open source technology in Linux. And from there, my journey started as a software engineer. Around after 13 years of my stint, the question came, what next? So I was researching on what could I do and what meaningful could I do more in life. And I figured out that indigenous cows was one topic that was very, very close and disturbing, both at the same time. Close because, the value that we have brought up with, we see cow as a holy creature of God, and its milk certainly feeds millions and millions of children, humans. Milk, by the way, is the cheapest form of protein for people who might not be informed. You like it or you don't like it, and there are practices in the dairy farming which are not pleasing currently to many. But with that being said, still the milk still remains as the cheapest and the largest source of protein in the world. So you cannot do away with milk. Anybody who's on a healthy milk diet will stay healthier, will live longer, will be having less diseases. So it's a proven fact now, specifically in the corona times. People figured out that if you are on A2 cow milk, now A2 is a form of protein that is found in the milk of indigenous cows, African cows, and some other cows in Europe. And buffaloes have A2 milk, camel has A2 milk, horse has A2 milk, humans have A2 milk. So if you are on A2 protein milk diet, you will have a better immunity system. You will have less diseases. You'll live longer. You'll be healthier. So who does not want to live longer? Who does not want to live healthier? Everybody would want to do that. And the easiest way to do it is to have a glass full of good indigenous cow milk, be it from any location you belong to in the country or abroad. So milk is an essential commodity. It is not an option. You cannot say I'll do without milk. For people who've tried having other alternatives to milk, they've not been very successful, like soya milk, almond milk. One, they're costlier to produce. Two, they do not provide you that amount of nourishment in that amount of price. So you could have an almond milk for, say, 500 rupees a glass. But then how many of us would basically be able to afford a 500 rupees glass of almond milk? So it needs to be seen that a glass of milk that is available at a particular cost, nothing on planet Earth comes closer to this kind of nutrient nutritional value, uh, that we get from milk. So that was a topic that struck me, that can we do something about indigenous cows? We've seen them, we've read them, we've heard about them, but I see them on the streets. We see farmers not wanting to keep them for various reasons. One, once the tractors moved in, the bulls weren't of much use. Uh, with the influx of exotic breeds from Europe and Americas, the farmers had the choice of having cows which could give more milk, vis-a-vis compared to the indigenous breeds, which was sturdier, better, but their quantity of milk was lesser as compared to a Holstein Friesian Jersey cow, which was probably producing a little higher quantity of milk. So when the prices of milk basically are governed by the fat and the SNF that a farmer, when a farmer goes to a cooperative to deposit his milk or sell his milk, he figured out that, okay, boss, I do not want to keep indigenous cows. So I would want to prefer a Holstein Friesian or Jersey cow, because in the end I would be paid on the quantity of milk, and probably somewhere the quality of milk will not be that important. So that thought also pushed the indigenous cows to the brink of, I wouldn't say extinction, but they were lost somewhere. Many of the breeds are now you can't find them. I mean, they're there in the books, they're there in the textbooks, but when you go out in the field, it's very difficult to find a pure, indigenous breed, which probably would have been very easy to find, maybe 30 years down the line, but it is not the case now. So with all this data behind me, I thought, like, people like indigenous cows, we have this thought in our mind that it is certainly useful, but we need to kind of have a scientific base behind what we desire to do, and we need to put our point properly in front of our consumers, that, see, here you have indigenous cow milk. This is going to be a little pricier because of the various reasons that I'm going to share with you, but this is healthy, this is good for your body, this is good for your mind, and can we have a market around it? So with this thought, we started Heta. We'll move on to the next slide now. Okay, so now Heta is around 7 years old. We have around 3 farms now. When I speak to you, around 1,000 indigenous cows, which also include bulls, by the way, and old cows. We have this concept that whenever a cow is born or it comes into our farm, we do not cull it or we do not sell it. So even when it is old, it is important for us to ensure that it gets clean water and good fodder till the day it survives. So if it gives us milk, great. If it does not give us milk, we use the other derivatives that we get from the cow, that is the cow urine, called Gomutra, and the cow dung. So as you move in the slides, you would see why these are also important and what all we could do from them. So we make around 100 odd products now. They're all available on our website. You could go and order yourself as well and see how and what we are making. These 3 farms and these 1,000 cows are supported by a 80 headstrong and very motivated team. I'm just one of those, and I'm having the luxury to represent them. Heta does not run on donations. We do not accept donations. Even if somebody comes to us and he wants to donate, we encourage them to buy products or basically even buy fodder and give to the cows rather than giving us cash. So our idea is very simple, that you would manufacture products. We'll add value, as what Professor Moni was saying in his slides. A lot of times he repeated this word, value add. So if you value add things, you'll sell at a higher price. And that's the key, my friends. Move on to the next slide. Yeah, so nothing goes to waste. Now this is a slide which explains as to what we are doing. This is the secret of Heta that I'm sharing with you. So we have milk from indigenous cows. We have the cow urine. We have cow dung, and we breed. So what are we doing with milk? So we have milk products. When we have milk products, I mean, we value add. So, like example, we will make laddus, we'll make some sweets, we'll make some khoya. We'll manufacture things which we feel would give us a higher price in the market. And why? Because we have 1,000 cows to support, and if we just sell milk, it will be difficult. But if we go ahead and value add, this milk, it will it will sell at a higher price, as I just shared with you. And it will help us sustain ourselves better and double our own income. So when I double my own income, it is then I can tell the other farmers, hey, you go and do this. This is how you're going to double your income. Right? So this is a very practical example of what Professor Moni was sharing as to how do you double yourself. So all that he shared, a good part of it you would see coming into Heta, and this is how we get it done. So that's the idea, that's the text that Professor Moni was saying, and what we're doing is the practical thing, that how you go to do it and how you are going to double your income. Right? So now let's move on to Gomutra. So this is a hotly debated topic. You would generally see negative press, unfortunately, on this for various reasons. We're all educated. We understand. Without getting emotional on anything. The only question I have is: does something make value or give value to me? If it does, then there shouldn't be any harm in accepting it. So if Gomutra is of help to me or my soil or my society, I better will use it, and figure out how can I use it. So this is where the whole thing started. You would be surprised to know that in Ayurveda, over 100 medicines are derived from Gomutra, or Gomutra is used in those medicines, or you're asked to consume a medicine along with Gomutra. Of course, there is a certain way of using it. There's a way of collecting it. There's a way of processing it. And that comes under the Ayurvedic, good practices of manufacturing medicines. So you cannot manufacture a medicine just by reading something. Okay, this is how I'm going to manufacture a medicine. No, you can certainly read it. That's your choice. But to manufacture a medicine, you need to have a whole system in place. You need to have, uh, you know, uh, uh, a whole factory which is have the right equipments. You need to have the right license with you. You need to have the proper training of your individuals. You need to have doctors. You need to have professors. You need to have people, researchers, who basically are part of the whole ecosystem, who will basically help you manufacture those medicines. So do not manufacture medicines without a license. So Heta worked very hard to get a license in place. So we have a license in place to manufacture medicines. So we manufacture around 30 odd medicines from Gomutra, and these are medicines which help you take care of your cold, the common cold. These will help you take care of your migraine. These will help you take care of your diabetes. These will help you take care of your obesity. These will help you take care of even cancer. This is not what I am stating, my friends. This is what these scriptures tell you. And these scriptures, these Charak Sahitas, Shrut Sahitas, these books are recognized by Ayurveda. And only after that, you could pull that source, pull that medicine out from that book and manufacture it. So before even applying for a license, you have to have all this in place before you start manufacturing anything. So Gomutra is certainly useful. To sum it up, fine. People who make fun of it, I say they are ill-advised. They do not have the knowledge that what is waste to them might not be waste to the other person. So what is waste? Anything that is of no use to me is waste. But the same thing could be useful to somebody else, and for him that could be a very valuable asset. So we should be very careful in basically terming something as a waste. Gomutra could be waste to some people, but it is certainly used in thousands of drugs. It's used in the manufacturing of organic manure, Jivamrit. It's used in biopesticides. There's so much that is basically done and can be done out of Gomutra. We are doing it. So this is not just a prophecy. This is not just a dream that we are basically thinking, oh, this is very useful. No, we are actually doing it. We are practicing it. We are manufacturing things and we are selling them. And out of all that we sell, we basically make money and we sustain our organization. Now we come to cow dung. So what are we doing with cow dung? Basically, cow dung is a waste which comes out of the cow when it eats fodder, like any other animal. But interestingly, the indigenous cow, the dung that we basically get from these indigenous cows, this is of great use to a farmer. Remember this topic is about farmers doubling their own income. So what all can we do from a cow dung? I mean, one, if you are into organic farming, my friends, please be rest assured, you cannot do organic farming without cow dung. So if somebody is telling you that you please collect leaves and you basically start organic farming just by milching, no, you certainly cannot. You certainly need cow dung to do organic farming. You need cow urine to do organic farming. And I am doing organic farming for the past 6-7 years. And I can tell you, anybody who's saying that you don't need them, I'm so sorry. I mean, you certainly need cows on earth. Why? If not for milk, you certainly need them to save the soil. Sadhguru's great movement of save soil going on, and he talks very often about why you need cows or why do you need animals like elephants or even buffaloes, or all these animals that nature has made. You need them for the cow dung. They process, they eat leaves, they eat barks, trees, and they give us the dung, which is of great use to all the microorganisms which basically thrive in this ecosystem of cow dung, and they replenish the soil, they replenish the nutrients, and this is very, very important for anybody who grows crops. Why has urea come into this picture? Do you understand? I mean, I will give you a small history of how urea came into place. After World War II, there was surplus of petroleum, oil. And companies started thinking what we need to do. I mean, just look at how things happen in the whole world, and you'll be surprised, how urea was basically even thought of. So when you had the surplus of oil, people figured out that from oil you could actually have compounds like urea, which could be helpful in farming. Now, when you use urea, which you basically what you're doing is you're not using cow dung because you don't have cows. When you don't have cows, you will not have cow dung, so you don't have manure. So how do you give nitrogen, phosphorus, to the soil? Because these are required. Nitrogen is required when you have to grow crops. So to have nitrogen in an artificial way, you use urea, DAP. And to get that, you need it's an oil. It comes from oil. The oil that comes from the earth, the same oil from which we have diesel, which we have petrol. It's one of the derivatives. So, this urea, when it is sprinkled, it certainly will give nitrogen to the crops, and the crops will look very green. But you know what? These green crops are not healthy. They are very, very weak from within. It's just like, I paint my face with all the good Lakme and perfumes, but from within I'm having asthma, or I'm diabetic, or I'm having cancer. So I am going to be, a person suffering from within, but I'm just trying to portray a picture of healthy body outside. That is exactly what happens when you spray the plants with urea, and you basically feel that the plant is getting greener or healthier. No, it is not. The soil is dying. How? I'll tell you. So when you spray urea, it basically what happens is the plant goes weaker, the soil becomes harder, and it does not allow the water that falls on the soil, it does not retain the soil. So the soil starts losing its retention capacity of moisture. That's why it needs to be watered more and more if you're using urea or DAP in your farming. Once you use urea, your plants have become weak for the reasons I told you, because they don't have macronutrients, they don't have micronutrients. They have is nitrogen, some phosphorus. Okay, great, but they need more, which you don't have. So the crops are weaker. What you do now is to protect them from pests, which have started to attack the crops because they are weak. You spray them with pesticides. So it's a very vicious cycle. You have urea, you have pesticides, and both of them go together. So if you are using urea, please be rest assured you will be wanting to use pesticides, and that's where you have a cancer train running in from Punjab to Gujarat, or from Punjab to other hospitals. Why? Because tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of harmful chemicals and pesticides have been sprayed, which probably there was nothing they could do without, because they were using urea, because they didn't have cows. So this thing is well connected. If you don't have cows, if a farmer does not keep cows, he will have to have urea. If you have to have urea, you will have pesticides. If you have to have pesticides, you will, my friend, certainly be needing some cancer help, certainly in the near future, if not now. This is how I can tell you with my own experience. If you use cows, if a farmer has cows, you'll be amazed to know, friends, that farmers who keep cows have very less suicidal rates. In fact, there was this research that was done which showed that farmers who keep cows, the cows act as an ATM for them. So if my crop dies, I can give you an example. I just sowed moong pulses, the moong that we eat, and the crop didn't do well this time for some reason because of the extreme climates. I do organic farming, at one of my farms, and the crop failed. So the whole 100 bigas of crop failed. Now, if I had no alternatives, it would have been very difficult for me, to survive. I mean, and the same thing happens with any other farmer like me. So how do the cows come in picture now? So now when my crop failed, the whole crop is not a waste to me. All that I did not get were the seeds of moong, which is okay, which is certainly a loss. But the whole crop I can use as a fodder, which I'm using now. And that fodder is given to the cows. They produce good milk, which I sell at a good rate. And I use cow dung, and I manufacture, as I said, medicines out of gomutra. So I have something in my backyard which helps me survive if my crop fails. So for a farmer who keeps cows, it's a bank balance. It's an ATM that he has, that if something happens to your crops, you don't have to have the noose around your neck. You can basically pay your debts. You can still survive. If you keep animals, if you have goats, if you have cows, if you have buffaloes. So from a farmer's perspective, the cows are very, very important. I sometimes hear this idea, that we can just let loose the cow. We should not keep buffaloes, we should not keep goats because they're not meant to be kept. They're meant to be free in the forest. My friend, you would be surprised to know that if you do that, most of the goats and the cows won't survive because they're very dependent on humans. While we give them some help, we take things from them, like the milk, the cow dung, which helps our soil, which helps our own health. Fine. So it's a give and take. Of course, it needs to be done ethically so that you don't kill the calf. You don't over milk the cow. You take care of her health so that it milks longer. So that's for your own interest. If you have short-term gains, you would certainly lose out on the longer front. So for farmers who do ethical farming, they survive longer. Same thing applies to the dairy farmers. So if you're ethical, you follow ethical practices of taking care of your cows will do well for a longer duration. Now we come to the fourth point, that is the breeding. So how does breeding help us? Indigenous cows, based on the region you come from, Mother Nature has, evolved them in such a way that a cow which is doing well in, say, Gujarat or Rajasthan might not do as well in the hilly terrain of Himalayas. So for the Himalayas, you would have the Himalayan Badri cow, right? So it's more suited, smaller in size. It has smaller legs, but stronger hind legs. It can, go up the hills, which a Gir wouldn't do because the Gir is a very heavy cow. The Kankrej is a very heavy cow. It would need a large piece of land, swath of land for her to graze and walk, which she would not get in the hills. So based on the location you are, you should choose the variety that fits in your place. Be it's a Sahiwal, it's a Rathi, it's an Ongole, it's a Velchur, it's a Himalayan Badri, it's a Kankrej. Based on which location you are, choose the breed that you have. You'll be surprised to know, my friends, that if today you have a good Gir cow or a good Sahiwal cow or even an Ongole bull, guess the price. You'll be surprised. A good bull of Ongole would sell anywhere more than 5 lakhs today. I mean, you have 5 lakhs in your backyard as a farmer if you've just prepared a single bull. I mean, so who says bulls are not important? They are. I mean, there are people looking out for bulls. I need a Gir bull and I'm not finding a good one or at the price that I want. They're so costly. Recently, I purchased a bull last year. It was like 10 lakhs. I mean, you could buy a car. So this is the power of breeding. And this is an indigenous cow. These are not exotic breeds. These are indigenous cows. So there's a lot of money in breeding. There's a very good program the government of India has launched on breeding. They're giving incentives to farmers. There is a yojana on breeding itself from the Ministry of Animal Husbandry, where you could take a loan and you can basically start breeding the good indigenous breeds like the Gir, Sahiwal, Ongole, Rathi. There are certain breeds listed there. You could choose and take advantage of this opportunity. So everything that the cow gives is useful. I mean, and people say, and I also strongly believe that the cow is the only animal, my friend, whose everything is of use. Think about it. Think about it. Even as a human, our waste wouldn't be of use. We cannot use our waste as is. I mean, unless we decompost it and we use it as a, as a manure in some form. But for a cow dung, from day one, it's of great use. People use it to basically, clean their houses, mop their walls, and it's antibacterial, antifungal, keeps their house, colder in the summers and warmer in the winters. So the Gomutra is a medicine which has been consumed from time immemorial, and it's of great use. People who have had cancer, I remember Dr. Oscar Fernandez, who was a Congress stalwart, and he had cancer. So he had the access to the best medicines. He went, I think, even to abroad, or he had, he was in AIMS for a long duration. But when everybody said, "My friend, you're going to die now," so Dr. Oscar Fernandez, of course, he was taken back. Nobody wants to die, and he was a member of parliament, and he was a big shot in the Congress. So some of his colleagues suggested him, why don't you take this Gomutra treatment? So it was suddenly he was taken back. He said, "Boss, I mean, let's be logical. I mean, what would happen if AIMS has told me that nothing would happen, and I've taken treatment outside in the US as well with chemos and all the therapies available? How would Gomutra going to help me? People are going to make fun." They said, "Anyway, you're going to die. So why don't you basically go and try?" And what Dr. Oscar Fernandez went to Gujarat. There was a cancer hospital which works and provides care to cancer patients only by using these derivatives of the cow that I have mentioned: milk, Gomutra, and cow dung. They call it Panchagavya. And interestingly, Dr. Oscar Fernandez, he was cured. When he was cured, he stood up in the parliament. There's a speech you could Google search and you'll find it on YouTube. So when he basically stood up in the parliament, his speech was noted by who's who, and people, found value in it. And I too, noted a couple of points. He said, I was about to die, and I thought, nothing could save me because the best hospitals had given up. But it was Panchagavya. It was the cow. This was a holy cow that saved me. And I now dedicate my life to the service of this cow. And he went to that same ashram from which he got cured to start serving, the others who were in need. So can you believe this? I mean, this. And so these are not uneducated people; these are educated people. So we need to start trusting our own value system. We need to start trusting Ayurveda. Or suddenly it's a very older science. It's not been as well documented. But just because it's not as well documented does not mean that it does not hold value or does not have the strength to cure even modern diseases. It certainly does. All we need to do is to fill in those gaps that are there, and that is also an opportunity. There's a lot of new companies coming into the Ayurveda field, and I'm very positive that even some of you from Shobhit University probably will land up there and make a name for yourself. So next slide, please. Thank you. So we just shared as to what we are doing with these things that are derived from the cow. So this photo of this cow is real. All the photos that I have, on my hat, my shirt, and my slides are real cows. We've just basically done a sketch of them. So this is a Himalayan Badri breed. This is a Himalayan Badri bull, basically, and it's there right in the center. So breeding, as I said, I mean, a good bull, a good cow can fetch you 5 lakhs or even more today. People don't have good breeds, my friend. They have mixed breeds. They have exotic breeds. If you have a good Gir bull or a Sahiwal bull or a Nongol bull, please contact me. I have so many people looking out for pure breeds. They are not finding them. Fine. So it's a very big opportunity. Very big opportunity. Certainly you need to show patience. It takes time. It takes effort to be there. But the opportunity exists. Right, today we are here to talk about opportunities and challenges. So there is an opportunity in breeding. There's a great opportunity. The whole world is looking at, good breed of cows. Brazil, you'll be very interested to know. Is a very interesting case study. Brazil, the people from Brazil, the farmers from Brazil, they're very close to America and the Europe, by land distance, if not by the heart, by the land distance. 200 years ago, 150 years ago, they took wooden ships. I mean, the ships were made of wood. There was probably steel was not, as well discovered or was not in that shape. So they took wooden ships, big ships from Brazil. They came all the way and docked in Gujarat. You know what? to search for cows. They, they spoke with the king of Bhavnagar, which is a coastal district of Gujarat, and they took the best cows, and the king had a hard time keeping those cows because probably he too was getting overwhelmed with the numbers and people not appreciating the value of indigenous cows. Those cows were purebred ghee cows. They also took the Ongole cows. People from Andhra Pradesh can relate to that. Ongole is a very good variety of cow in the Andhra Pradesh, Telangana region. There's a district called Ongole and a place located called Ongole behind which, the cows named. So they took Ongole, they took Gir, and they went back all the way to Brazil. Think about it. In wooden, ships, they would have taken fodder, water, and you cannot give salty water to the cows. So all that arrangement had to be done. They went back, and now Brazil was changed. Brazil used to be much poorer than India. Now, in the the dairy sector, the breeding sector, Brazil is way ahead of the world. They are into embryo transplants. The technologies that we hear now in India, they are doing this for the last 20 years, 15 years, and they've taken this to the next level. Now, how did they convert a 8-liter, 10-liter Gir cow into a 40-liter Gir cow? Suddenly, they had two programs. One program was to keep the breed pure. So those are highly prized in Brazil even now. So all the cows that came from India 100, 150, 200 years ago, they are still very prized. Their progeny is still very prized and they never mix it. Now, they started another program where they mixed the HF cows with the Gir cows and they made the Girlando and they kept it for meat and other, other things. But the pure breed of Gir was retained as is. There are competitions held for the pure Gir, Ongole, Red Sindhi, Sahiwal, bulls and cows there, and the auctions, you look at the mind-blowing prices on the auctions, you'll be surprised. A Mercedes won't cost as much as a Gir cow is costing there now, and for the right reasons, because it is really valuable. And they once they identify a good bull, the government comes into picture and they try to buy that bull from the farmer, and they basically state it as a market as a country bull where you cannot sell it or take it out, and you basically would draw semen stakes from it, and it tried to improve the progeny of the cow. So I have a cow with 10 liters, somebody has a cow with 20 liters. So what they would do is they will try to get a bull for that cow, ensure that the genetics are correct, and then basically try to give convert the cows of people who had lower milking capacity. Once they are inseminated with the progeny which is from a higher milking cow, you will have a better offspring. The chances of having a better offspring increases many-fold times. So this is how Brazil went into this breeding program, and they are today world's #1 breeders of indigenous cows. Can you believe this? And the Gir bulls that Brazil has are much wanted in India, my friends. I know a lot of breeders who just pray day and night that somehow they should get some doses of the Gir bull semen, and they're mind-blowing prices. 50,000 a straw, 1 lakh rupees a straw, and people are willing to pay. Can you just believe how they've converted the whole economics of Indian cows, and they're giving back to us something which they took 200 years ago, 100 years ago. They're giving back to us with a premium price. Now, this is called value addition. This is what Professor Moni was talking about. Now, this is a great practical example of how you value add. So here what you're saying, cull the bulls, kill the bulls. They are eating all the crops. They are doing this. They are doing that. Baba, they are doing because you're not finding any value out of them. How's Brazil finding value out of them? You need to basically work on things that Brazil did. You don't even have to reinvent the wheel. You have to improve your progeny. Improve your progeny. Once you have good Gir bulls, I will tell you, boss, who in India a farmer would be poor. He will not even have double income. He will have 3 times, 4 times his income just by selling good Gir cows or Sahiwal cows or Ongole cows or bulls. Certainly there is effort in it. It's not going to happen in a day, but there is great hope. There are people doing it, and Heta is part of it. So let's move into the other item of, cow urine. As I just spoke, you would see some medicines, that we manufacture. Can you go back to the older slide, please? Sorry. Yeah, thank you. So you can see Gomutra is used to make Panchagavya medicines. I just spoke about it. You can see some of the medicines there. There's an eye drop that we manufacture, and I am been using it for the past 7 years. My age is 45 years, and I still have a 6x6 vision. All thanks to the cow urine based eye drop. I can still see very clearly, drive in the night. So I'm using it practically. What I've done is I've started this with my whole staff, all 80 of us. We say that if we fall sick, we don't fall sick because we stay with the cows. And you're surprised, people who stay with the cows don't fall sick. The immunity levels increase, and this is something that you need to basically experience. If somebody tells you, you might feel, oh, that's a cliche. No, it's not a cliche. This is a fact. If you stay with indigenous cows, you'll not fall sick. In the rare case somebody has cough and cold, we bring them on the medicines that we make out of Gomutra. And these are all Ayurvedic medicines, licensed medicines. We also prescribed by a doctor, an Ayurvedic doctor, a Panchagavya doctor. And the patient says, boss, I got well in one day. Vis-a-vis, we had a paracetamol or a Crocin, he would have suffered for 7 days because the running nose takes 7 days to cure. But here you take just 1 day to get cured. Fine. And these are much cheaper, economical, certainly, and basically good for your health, good for the soil, good for the earth, and these are made in India. Okay, so let's move on to the cow dung thing. And now, as I just mentioned, cow dung is waste for some people, but for the farmer, it's a great friend because you cannot enrich your soil without cow dung. You cannot just have fertilizers and pesticides and do great farming. Certainly not. It's a very short-term, way of doing farming, and the results are out. You have cancer, you have the hardened soil, you have no water retention, you have no earthworms left. Fine, there are no micronutrients or no macronutrients. Nothing is left in the soil. This is what we have done of ourselves by using oil-based chemicals and fertilizers. So it's time to recognize the cow now, and get back to our roots. So cow dung is used to make manure. It's used to make logs, so we don't have to cut trees. All my Ayurvedic medicines, friends, are made over. We have these big, gas stoves, and these are run by cow dung logs. We don't use any stove, out of LPG or CNG or electricity. We save everything, and these logs, provide us free fuel. So look at this wonderful thing that the cow gives. It eats and it gives back more. There's no other animal in the world, including humans, that take less and give more. Cow is the only one who takes less and gives more, and everything that the cow gives is useful. Now, the value-added products that Professor Moni was talking of, all of these are value-added things. But when I talk specifically of milk, then you have you see butter, you have cheese, you have ghee. Needless to say, now even the new age, my friends nutritionists are understanding the value of the older generation ghee that our nanis and dadis used to give us. They used to always put this on a rice or curd rice, or we had this dal and sambar and things like this. They always had this dope of makhan, butter and ghee. All that went missing, and we turned towards dalda and vanaspati, and again this was a health disaster. These were just sweet ads that were spreading misinformation, unfortunately, and there was nobody to check. All these hydrogenated oils are very, very harmful. So if you want to stay healthy, if you want to stay healthy and ensure that you don't have a cholesterol, you need to switch to indigenous cow ghee. If you are having indigenous cow ghee, you will not have cholesterol. You can check your cholesterol every month, and you will vouch for what I'm saying. You will stay healthy. You will not have a heart attack. And I'm saying, and I mean what I'm saying, friends. I am live on TV as well, and your channel. You mark my words. Lots of data is now available in the market, which says that if you are eating butter and ghee from indigenous cows, now that's a catch, from indigenous cows. I'm not talking about buffaloes. I'm not talking about the exotic Holstein Friesian Jersey breed. I am talking about indigenous cows. So the butter and the ghee from indigenous cows will help you maintain your hormonal imbalance. Lot of cases of PCOS, PCODs are now spreading like a mad wildfire. And the reason behind this is improper food, specifically non-usage of ghee. We have treated many cases of our female clients who had hormonal issues, and they got treated by just ghee. Can you believe this? And this is an Ayurvedic medicine. I mean, we are not making something out of the moon and giving to them. We are prescribing some doctors. These doctors, basically suggest them to have ghee from indigenous cows, and their condition is reversed. Interestingly, when a child is born, my friends, from 1 to 7 years, he needs a lot of butter and he needs a lot of ghee. Why? Because the brain development is directly dependent on the fat intake. That's why you would see Lord Krishna in the photos. He'll be having butter around him. He'll be standing with butter in his hands and his mouth. No, that's the way our ancestors used to tell us that when you are small, my friend, you need to have butter. You need to have ghee. And these are all from indigenous cows. Fine. So basically, the message that I would want to give you is that go back to your roots. Use things that your nannies and dadis and even before people used to have. They had value. They used to give us the strength. They didn't fall as sick as we are, as this whole society is. They never had so much of diabetes. They never had so much of cancer. And why? Because they were dependent on the holy cow, and they believed in that cow and the Ayurvedic system. We've stopped believing that. We've stopped, taking care of the cow. We stopped keeping cows, rearing cows, and we still want organic food. We want the best food, but it is not possible. If you don't have the cow, you will have nothing. Last in this picture slide is the organic farming. As I said, you cannot have organic farming. I'm a farmer myself. Without cow dung, no farming. You need to have cow dung. You need to have Gaumutra to make Jivamrit. Even if you don't want to make Jivamrit, don't worry. You can still make manure by putting it in a pit. You still need the Gaumutras to spray as a pesticide on your crops, and it's a very good herbal pesticide, which has no side effects. So, please use the cow dung and the Gaumutra, and basically take advantage if you are a farmer and if you're listening. You start converting your crops from urea and pesticides to organic farming, and do it step by step. By the way, your first year should be half conversion. You have whatever you've been doing, and half you start getting into cow dung and Gaumutra based manure, and slowly you would start seeing that the amount of output that you get from your organic field will start matching with what you've been getting from your not organic field, that is from the traditional urea and pesticides that you've been spraying. It takes time in the conversion, and but there is a way out. Next slide, please. Okay, so I mean, a little bit, self-praise, as what Heta has been doing, so as I just mentioned, that all indigenous cows that are born in Heta, they have access to good fodder, clean water, ample space to roam around. If it's a male or a female, because they add value to us. For us, they're very useful. We've survived 7 long years with them. We're still going strong. We've won many awards because of the cows. And there's no looking back. We continue to encourage everybody around us that indigenous cows is the way to go. Certainly there is effort, but this is the right thing to do. Now, what's ethical milking? Ethical milking is derived from this word called dohan. In the northern part of India, and I'm sure it's also there in the south. I don't know the name. When you go to milk the cow, you don't say I'm going to milk the cow. You go, "Main gaay ko dhone ja raha hu." What does dhona means? Dhona means take milk from 2 teats. The cow has 4 teats. So our ancestors made it mandatory on us that even when you're going to milk the cow, remember the slogan that you're not going to say, "I'm going to take milk." Say, "I'm my gaay ko dhone ja raha hu." Dhona means 2. So from 2 teats, you're going to derive milk. You're going to draw milk from 2 teats. You're not going to take milk from all the 4 teats. And unfortunately, our dairy industry has suffered because we've got very, very miser. Our hearts have become smaller, and our thirst has become higher. And what we've started to do is we kill these small calves, bulls, or even males and females, thinking that we will inject them with hormones. Why do we need a hormone? So what happens is, when the cow sees a calf from a pituitary gland, the oxytocin hormone is released to her milking glands, which say release the milk, and she releases the milk. So that's the natural way of how it happens. So we start milking the cow, and the calf also drinks. So we milk from the 2 teats, and the 2 teats is drunk by the calf. What people started to see is that's a lot of waste, and they say, okay, I'm not going to milk the cow like this. I'm going to draw the milk from all the four teats, and the calf was given artificial, milk, from powder and from proteins and whatever, but it never did well. So you would see a higher rate of mortality from calves which are not fed its mother's milk. Fine, and in the end it's the farmer that loses. You will lose a good progeny. You will lose your calves. You will have female calves or male calves who are not good at health, or the immunity will not be as strong. So they need their mother's milk. So have that heart to share that milk. Once you do that, it's a long term thing, my friends. You need to plan. So you cannot say, I invested a lakh rupees, I need 2 lakh rupees immediately in 1 year. No, that's not what you're going to do. You need to plan for 10 years and say, okay, this cow is going to give me calves heifers for 10 years. I need to ensure that my calves are healthy. I need to ensure my cow is healthy. And to do that, I need to ensure that the calves are fed and the cows also fed. So we don't need hormones if we have the calves. And if the calf is killed or he dies because of malnutrition, you need to inject that hormone oxytocin, unfortunately. And please understand, it's a banned drug now. So you're not supposed to do that. And people who do that basically are just making fool of themselves and the cows and the health of people, because this oxytocin hormone, which is artificially injected, is one of the reasons of child related disorders we are seeing. A young child who's supposed to be a child is now not a child. He's grown up much faster. You know why? Because he's been just flushed with these oxytocin hormones. Somebody who was 7 years now appears to be 14 years. Somebody who was 10 years has no childishness in him or her, and they've matured much faster. Why? Because of this oxytocin hormone. So my deep request is, please be mindful of the drug abuse that is rampant in this industry. And by following little ethics, you could do away with this. And the last point, cow dung and gaumutra, as I just mentioned over and over again, is going to be used to manufacture manure, Ayurvedic medicines, lots of things that we are doing, in our industry, in Hita. And I invite all of you to be here, and see for yourselves. If you ever have a time and Professor Moni can, bring you along in his bus, and you could see things, what I just stated, you will be able to see them practically, things happening. Next slide, please. So why indigenous cows? So let's talk about indigenous cows and why shouldn't I have exotic breeds? One, Mother Nature chose these indigenous cows to be in the place they were born, right? So like Ongole was there in Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Velchur was there in Kerala, Himalayan Badri cow in the Himalayas, the Gir and Kangrej in Gujarat, and Rajasthan you had similar cows, same belt, the Kangrej, Thar Parker, these cows are sturdier. They don't need a lot of medicine. They get treated easily. I hardly use medicines with my indigenous breeds. Very rarely I need to call a doctor. Very less fertility issues. The temperatures are reaching 48 degrees. In the northern belt of India, a lot of humidity. In this uncomfortable climate, these cows can roam freely, they can sit freely, they can move freely. They don't have to, they're not, needing an AC or a fan or a cooler. So you save on your electricity bills as well. Fine. Milk quality is far, far better, my friends. If you have a Holstein Friesian cow, try tasting its milk. But I'm just talking about the taste, by the way. Try tasting its milk and try the milk from any indigenous cow that you basically have around you. You will know yourself, that this milk from the indigenous cow is far tastier. Forget about the health benefits. It's far tastier. Mother Nature has made it like this. Now, why it is tastier? Of course, because it has the more digestible, more palatable A2 type milk gene in it. What is happening with the Holstein Friesian Jersey cows? They also have the A2 type gene, but they also have the A1 type gene, which is the cause of concern. It is the gene which causes type 1 diabetes, it causes autism, it causes schizophrenia. So I'm being very direct, so this is not a hidden fact now. Children who are autistic, children who are having type 1 diabetes, it is immediately advised that you move on to A2 type milk, and their condition starts to improve. There are a lot of books written specifically, there's a lot of research done by Dr. Keith Woodford from New Zealand. And once they discovered that A2 type milk has helped children, has helped patients, recover or get better from these said diseases, which were supposed to be non-curable. New Zealand quietly moved all its dairy from A1 to A2 without making fuss. They got cows from India, genes from India and Africa, and they basically converted all their dairy. Now in India, we have this everlasting debate. We continue to debate. Earlier we had indigenous cows. Then the government had this, milk revolution. Then we had HF cows and jerseys. We had this mixed breeds coming because of, the push from the government to have more milk. Now we have either mixed cattle or we have HF jersey cows. Now those same farmers are in a bad state. They say, boss, earlier I had indigenous cows. You said no, keep HF cows. Now when I have HF cows, you say no, go back to the indigenous cows. So those poor people are also having a hard time. We need to be sensitive to that. But with that being said, the truth cannot be hidden. The truth is that these indigenous cows milk is far superior to the exotic breed milk that you probably have access to, because the number of exotic breeds giving milk, or the farmers who keep these cows, are far more than those basically who keep indigenous breeds, unfortunately. It's changing as the news is spreading, as people are getting educated. There is a demand of A2 type milk, and specifically milk from indigenous cows. People are asking for it. So when there will be the demand, there will be the supply. So it's always the demand and supply. When there is a market, you will always have people working for it. I was talking about cow urine, and yeah, so we already spoken about it. Can this model feed our population? That's the next slide. Of course, I'm sure a couple of years ago you would have heard stubble burning in Punjab and Haryana, and all these governments are fighting with each other. The Delhi was saying, Punjab is burning the stubble. Suddenly this year, my friends, you wouldn't have heard this. Can you guess why? Because the stubble is selling at 18 rupees a kilo. So this is the demand. The demand of dry fodder has reached to peak levels. Fodder, green fodder and dry fodder, both are in shortage. Not in India, around the world, because of this, population outburst, scarcity of land, global warming. You have floods coming, you have rain coming when you don't want them. So what has happened? The prices of fodder has gone up. 18 rupees a kg you have wheat, and 18 rupees a kg you have bhusa. That is this stubble that you have. There's the same price. So now you have farmers who become very intelligent suddenly. All of them are stocking their stubble and they're selling it to states where they have a lot of need for these dry fodder. So a lot of farmers from Punjab and Haryana come to Uttar Pradesh, and they sell this stubble at premium prices. So suddenly the whole economy has changed, and people have found value in stubble. Nobody's fighting now. And there is no burning, because there is no, people have understood the importance of fodder. Something which was waste is not a waste now. As I said, it is just a way of looking at it. So when you grow a crop, all the stubble that you have will be the fodder for the cow. As I said, my moong pulses crop did not do well this year. So what I did, everything was fodder to my cows. And this is rich protein fodder. Having this pulses, it gives protein to the cows, and cows need protein to form milk. So either you have oilseed cakes or you have this kind of fodder. So if a farmer has cows, he has many advantages. He has no stubble because everything is fodder to the cows. Fine. So he saves money on that. Now, when he does breeding, he augments his income by selling the heifers or the extra heifers or the cows or the bulls that he has. Okay? That is one. Two. The third thing, he has milk for his family. He has ghee for his family. He has milk and ghee to sell if he has surplus. So he keeps his family and himself fit, and has access to good, rich protein, which he can also sell if he has surplus, right? So the three advantages that a farmer gets, if he has cows, goats, or buffaloes along with his farming, if he tax that along with his farming. So this is something which a farmer should always keep in mind, that if you are into farming, organic or otherwise, look at the cows, specifically the indigenous breed of cows. You will have so much to gain from this cow. Fine. It'll eat so less, it'll give you far, far more. But have a long-term vision. Please don't be short-sighted. Next slide, please. So this is a diagram, of the sites that Heta has. Testimony of the fact that what a cow can do. So I was a software engineer. Nobody would have invited me to this call because there's so many software engineers. So Professor Moni found me hanging in one of the seminars. He said, "Okay, boss, come and speak." And that's just because of the cow. See, so the cows brought me here to Shobhit University's live show. Uh, we have a big farm in Ghaziabad, and we have around the slide is a little older. It's around 800 odd Gir, Sahiwal, Tharparkar cows here. We have a farm in Bulandshahr. That's we call it a Nandishala because we keep more bulls there, or the old cows and bulls there, and we do organic farming there. And then we have a smaller unit in Uttarakhand in Champawat, where we keep the Himalayan Badri cows, we work on them, and we manufacture medicines. So these are the three sites that HETA has. Next slide, please. So I've tried to incorporate the different languages of the Indian, subcontinent. You see Hindi, you see English, and for people down south, I'm sure you should recognize we have Kannada, Telugu, Tamil, Malayalam. Fine, they're all there because HETA sells its product India-wide. We have so many orders coming from Maharashtra, we have orders coming from Karnataka, we have orders coming from Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh. Fine, we take pride in Make in India and selling our products India-wide. Some of them also go abroad. Thank you. The next one. So what are the opportunities in this sector? As I said throughout my slide set, if you have to augment your income, if you have to have a backup, this is the way to go. You need a farmer needs to keep cows. It is not if he should, he has to. If you want to play safe, if your crop fails, don't worry. You have your cows to get you through that year, that hard year. You can sell your heifers, you can sell your bulls or cows, but ensure you have pure breeds. You need to work on them. You need to ensure that you get the right semen doses from the right institutes. They're all available. The government is giving a great impetus to basically having sex sorted semen as well. So if you don't like bulls for any reason, you can basically choose those kind of semen sticks and ensure that you have more female progeny, and take advantage of all these schemes that are around you. So a cow would help you with milk, with butter, with ghee for yourself, and you can have things to sell, or certainly it augments your income. You have nothing as a waste in your farmland because everything is fodder for the cows. So you don't have to burn your stubble or any or do things which basically are harmful for the environment. So everything on your farm is for the cow, and whatever the cow gives is for you. Take advantage of this. Lots of opportunities in this sector, right from manufacturing to cold chain to transportation. You name it and you have it. We just need people who are interested in looking at it and working on this. Fine. So I invite all the youngsters who are on the show, and who survived my talk so far, to basically, speak to me or message me or text me if you need to know something more. We can always connect offline as well. I can certainly help you, if you have queries and questions. But this is a thriving sector, my friend. It brings so much of value to the GDP, and Professor Moni knows this more than me. That how important this sector of animal husbandry is. When it comes to agriculture, agriculture doesn't give that much to the GDP that the animal sector gives. It is probably something which has been ignored for long, but now under the right leadership, we are getting the back on track. As I said, and I gave you an example of Brazil. Brazil has done wonders from a poor country to probably a developed, almost a developed nation. There's certainly things that they need to do, but on the dairy front, I rate them even higher than Europe and Americas. They are much higher than Europe and Americas when it comes to dairy. So what they've done in the embryo transplantation sector, the milk sector, the genetic sector, it is humongous. I can tell you. We need to learn a lot from Brazil, and remember they've done this with our own indigenous cows. This is not some other cow they're talking of. And they took this round the globe, on a wooden ship, as I informed you. So there's a lot of things that we can do and learn from Brazil. Yeah. Next slide, please. So what are the challenges? Empty number of challenges, my friend. Money. How do you raise money? You have an idea, you have a thought, you want to do something, you need to have money. Two, if you have a cow, how do you get pure breeds? That's a challenge. Because pure breeds are costly, you might not have the money, so you have to slowly start. How? Whatever cow you have, you start improving the progeny by using better quality semen, from reputed institutes. so that the progeny that you get is better than what you had, and you keep improving on it, keep improving on it, keep improving on it. That's how you're supposed to do. uh, uh, so money, I said, the second challenge I see is the availability of good progeny, good pure breeds. It is very difficult to get these days, at a reasonable price. Three is, how do you value add your products? For example, you have milk. So if you're selling milk at 25 rupees a liter, my friend, don't cry. You are not going to make profit. So you need to find ways what you need to do with that milk. Can you convert this into some sweet khoya? Value add. Can you convert this into buttermilk? Can you convert this into curd? Can you convert this into something which gives you more money? Suddenly you can do that. I can give you an example. You have milk, you have a dairy. Just open a small kiosk somewhere near a railway station, a bus stand, a college, or anywhere you have crowd. And I'm sure people are intelligent to find where you will find crowd everywhere. There's crowd everywhere in India now. So start selling tea or a milkshake or a banana shake or a coffee shake, and just look at how much you earn the whole day. I mean, you'll be surprised that what you were earning, it has suddenly augmented and catapulted you to a different stage by just doing a little value addition of just converting your milk into tea or coffee or milkshake. A simple thing that you could do it yourself without any input of machinery, heavy machinery or costly machinery. You could value add this with the skills that you already have and earn higher than what you were earning. So never get depressed when your milk is not selling at the rate you want. Try looking at avenues of what you could do and how you could value add. Always be on it. Suddenly people will make cheese. You might not want to make cheese, or you make something what you can do, right? And there's so much that you can do in this. So value addition is something very, very closely that you need to look at. This also a challenge. I see this as a challenge because a lot of people just want to produce milk and just give it, and then they say that I don't not getting the right price. Right? So you need to get that over that mental block, that hurdle, and move a step forward, of value addition. So I won't be speaking more than these 3 points. So these three are what I feel are important. Or certainly the cold chain. You need to look at how do you store milk and how do you store your products. That's anyways going to be there. There's so much that you could do with Gomutra and the cow dung, but if you want to make medicines, you need the license. Now that you need to put in that effort, you need to have that learning. So you might not want to venture in everything together, but start from things that are easy, and take baby steps and move forward. So with that being said, that is all that I had in my slide set today. I take this opportunity to thank Professor Moni, who was very kind in inviting me into in this live session of Shobhit University. I feel very honored, and I'm open to questions. If there are any questions or anything that you might want to ask, I'm right here. Not hearing you, Professor. See if you're muted.
Yeah, let me come out from this slide so that okay, it has come out. So it is very nice, Mr. Asim Rawat. Your more than 1 hour talk has given a complete, scenario, a value chain, and how you have developed an IT engineer, worked in multinationals, and then realized the potential and how it motivated you to get into the grassroots level, village level, to get into a project which is visible, which is demonstrable, and you have made a part of that complete value chain, and you live with them and you breathe with them, and even as an experienced person and a man who was operating that, and you are as a practitioner, you talked about it. That's why when last week when we were on the session in the Indian Chamber of Food and Agriculture program, and I was interested that I should invite you to deliver a talk in this national webinar series, because as a part of the doubling farmers income by 2022 and being a professor emeritus, establish these centers in the university, and also farmer director general, why should I wait till the government takes a decision to operationalize it? And COVID has taught a big lesson for us. You have an internet, you have an university platform, you are a former director general, and you are now a professor emeritus. You like to encourage the rural youth to get into area to make agriculture as a preferred option to work, and rather than going to an urban area. So like you, I'm also a mathematics student and IT student, and I took interest because luckily in 1987 I was given an opportunity to work for 512 districts computerization district, and I was given only the 6 letter word. I was able, and that time technology was not available. For me it is more than a 4 decade journey. And when I was given that opportunity, I thought that being an IITian, being a person who was born and brought up in rural area, this is a godsend opportunity by government of India and my organization National Informatics Center. And at that time we were associated, we were under planning commission. I was asked to work out in digitalization process for 512 districts, and I was given only 6 letter word district information system of NIC. So I took an study tour in Kerala, 14 districts, and understood, had a discussion, and then presented to the district collectors conference, which Mr. Rajiv Gandhi, the then Prime Minister, organized at Jaipur, Bhopal, Hyderabad, Coimbatore, and Imphal. That's how the revolution took place. That from the bottom of the pyramid, and 28 sectoral database development programs. I visualized it, and a common village level database. And people used to tell that it is looked like a World Bank report, and those days. And anything which you evolve from India, people all the have that only World Bank can give such type of things, not Indians. That I don't know who created that notion, whether Indians working in World Bank or World Bank doesn't want to tell about what India is doing it. Then after doing it, we did it with the technology which is available was D-based product. And and then I realized that we can do wonders in the rural area. So when in 95 I was given an opportunity to look agriculture sector as a whole sector. And in my career, I was looking for a systems approach rather than what a joint secretary wants to do in the ministry through the computerization. So if I had a big conference in Vigan Bhavan on a title National Conference on Informatics for Sustainable Agriculture Development. 15 informatics. Nobody was talking about e-governance. Gave a blueprint. Asked for IT budget for from agriculture budget 3 to 6%. But unfortunately, in the country, who talked to e-governance in 2005 had a better position to rule the country rather than the person who talked about IT in agriculture in 1995. Was not heard. But I didn't stop it. I have been bringing out schemes, and department like agriculture, Ministry of Agriculture was supporting me. Even my own organization was refused to give a budget to conduct a conference. 95, I wrote to ministry, various public sector bank to sponsor. I collected 6.5 lakh rupees in 95. My boss said it, Director General NIC, that Moni, you go ahead, but there is no budget for you. And then it came out 15 informatics blueprint for agriculture, and today you can see that if I would have stopped after what I saw in the note by my Director General that no budget for you, but you can go ahead. And thanks to the chairmen of many public sector undertaking, Oriental Bank of Commerce, Indian Bank, NABARD, and that time they gave the sponsorship. I was able to tell the country that this is what we needed. If India is an agrarian economy, work for agriculture sector. Be it IIT, be it NIT, be it 4,500 engineering colleges or higher education institution who have teaching various other computer science and so on and so forth, universities. is not only the responsibility of the agriculture. Agriculture has got a lot of non-farm activities and off-farm activities. So this is where I thought that Indian agriculture should be digitalized. We need people to work on that. We have to bring all the people to work on Indian agriculture sector. And then smart village in 2002, I visualized and got it approved by the planning commission. I was not allowed to do that. When present prime minister announced smart city, then I took it from my shelf, and that time I became the professor emeritus in the Soviet University. Then when I became chief advisor in the Ministry of Agriculture, I was associated with the doubling farmers' income. And I thought that it is very important that I should bring all the efforts which I was doing from 1987 onwards in the 7 mission mode program. Digital technology in agriculture is very essential. This can provide one agri-tech startup in every Gram Panchayat, the 2.25 lakh agri-tech startup to help 14.5 crore operational holders. And the government has not realized it till now. So that's why I thought that, then I thought that, in 2010 to 2012, I was able to operationalize a project sponsored by the Department of Agriculture, Department of Animal Husbandry and Dairying, by establishing National Animal Disease Reporting System, connecting 7,030 locations, nodes. And I wanted to bring all the milk collection centers during the 12th five-year plan. And then, a lot of, adoption of artificial intelligence and analytics and so on and so forth. And finally, that was not undertaken during the 12th five-year plan period. And when and then I thought that it is very essential to bring agricultural informatics as a discipline to motivate the rural students to get into agriculture through IT. That's why this university, it is the first private university in the world, that engineering university, to have centers of excellence on Center for Agricultural Informatics E-Government Research Studies, Center for Agribusiness Disaster Management Studies, Center for Informatic Development Solutions and Application, Center for Industry 4.0 Technology Studies and Application, and Center for Health Informatics and Computing. And launched MTech in Agricultural Informatics, BTech in Agricultural Informatics, PG Diploma, MBA in Agribusiness Management, and MTech in Informatics and E-Governance Standards, MBA in Industry 4.0 to train CEOs of SMEs, and biology students to get into health informatics through AI and blockchain technology and big data analytics on human health, plant health, animal health, soil health, and water health. It is very essential. So rural India needs a large scale of technology applications and adoption and human resources development. This can add $1.9 trillion economy to the Indian GDP. It was told by chairman of the Hindustan Unilever Limited way back in 2002 in the annual general body of their stakeholders shareholders meeting. So this much potential we have it. That's why, being the part of the Doubling Farmers Income Committee as a group leader for 2 volumes, why should I keep quiet? These 7 mission board programs, digitalization agriculture, immediately Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology should have taken it up by September 2018. Till now, they have not even called for a meeting. Professor Moni, you are a former DGN. I see you are now working in the university. You are part of the Doubling Farmers Income. And now, please let us that how Department of Electronics and Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology and you and the Doubling Farmers Income recommendation on digital technology in agriculture, how we should move about it. They are all coming out with the different things that, and this doesn't work. If a committee has worked on, and there is a complete volume on digital technology agriculture, you work on that rather than reinventing the wheel. Make it available. Let the people talk about. Let them do a SWOT analysis. Then only the country can get benefit out of various efforts. That because of that, we are bureaucrats. We can come out with any schemes whichever we want it, and we can close the schemes, or we can come out with the schemes, and we can make it available because we are the decision makers, the country is not going to progress. And educational institution, according to the new education policy, has got a lot of responsibility to undertake, research development project for local grassroots level problems. That's why I thought that during the COVID situation, let me have an webinar series. You have internet connectivity, you have university platform, being a former director, general of a National Informatics Center, and you have proposed, you're doing these educational programs through these centers of excellence. Let us have a national webinar series on doubling farmers' income by 2022, whether other people are doing it or not. And then and all agriculture cooperative societies has to be made it as a value chain, digitally enabled. And I have been talking from 2004 and made it as a recommendation in the doubling farmers income. It's like a CoopNet, cooperative informatics network, and e-cooperatives. And then started on 18th August 2020, and today is the 84th edition, and I'm very happy about that. And then then one is on agriculture, where doubling farmers' income by 2022. People used to say that by 2022 it has come that whether farmers' income has been doubled, and how many educational institutions are doing such type of things in the country. Does IIT do it? Does NIT do it? Does triple IT do it? Does engineering colleges do it? For them, agriculture is a very important area for, because it's an unstructured problem, then artificial intelligence and big data analytics can be applied, because they don't teach it. They never applied their theory on agricultural problems. They are all preparing people for corporates and for a structured problem. Intelligence came, Prime Minister said it, and now everybody is talking about artificial intelligence, and Niti Aayog is coming out with a national strategy for artificial intelligence. And agriculture sector is a very important, and the country needed to operationalize the 7 mission mode programs as suggested in the doubling farmers' income to the grassroots level. And even in a meeting called at the house of Honorable Defense Minister Mr. Rajnath Singh, and Honorable Honorable Minister of Agriculture also participated on 15th October 2020 during the farmer strike. I told, when I was trying to do IT in agriculture, the minister was supporting me that the deputy wants to do it, let us support. Now you have a 3-farm act, and then 7 measurement farmers' income. It can revolutionize the Indian agriculture by supporting 2.25 lakh agri-tech startups at the grassroots level. Everything can be globally integrated, and that's how put it. Even then, afterwards, our Honorable Defense Minister wanted to have a further meeting, but he was not able to find a time till today. That is a different things. That's why I thought that let me have this. That is a this webinar series, and then Saturday I thought the international webinar series, open source digital technology towards self-reliant India, in association with the African Asian Rural Development Organization. Whatever we India does it is meaningful for African countries, Asian countries, and our friendly countries. So in ARDO is a 33-member countries having headquarters in Delhi, and that's why, and we work very closely. So in association with them, and every Saturday at 11:30, and the technology related aspects. Technology plus technology, adoption in agriculture. There are a lot of NRIs speak, and also that, and there also this week I will be completing the 83rd edition. And I'm very happy that a lot of experts, lot of NGOs, lot of startups, people like you, and we're able to understand and appreciate, participated. This 2 hours talk in every seminars is, it is motivating research scholars, startups, NGOs, because we talk about threadbare, everything related to a problem. Today in this talk, you talked about it, indigenous cow. You used only 13 slides, but he talked about more than 1 hour. And being an IT person, and you are now doing at the grassroots level, and you say that if you have a cow and you don't have to face a problem, you can become a millionaire. And why can't we do it? When Brazil can take our livestock assets and then modify it depending upon the local condition, now they are selling back to India with much more value additions. And we also would like to develop. And rural economy is based on agriculture sector, agriculture and allied sector. And agriculture sector alone is generating an agricultural waste of 1.18 billion dollar worth of agriculture waste. It can be converted as a wealth. You take banana. I have been working and I've been propagating that. 13 states are cultivating banana, and each banana, after cutting the fruit, it can give 50 rupees. 264 crore plant per annum, which can give 50 rupees. It can give fiber, fine fiber. From the fine fiber, you can make a currency note, fiber cloth. Neighboring, Nepal, and Sri Lanka, and Philippines, Japan, Indonesia, their garments, they are all based on banana fiber. Takes care of climate, conditions. And these are all some of the things that one commodity can give, and which we have not even looked into it. We have not done what you call secondary research. We have not done much research activities, solutions for secondary agriculture. We start with the primary agriculture. So that's why I thought that the 7 mission mode programs, how to propagate it, how to help startups, how to bring in capacity building, competency building. That's why this webinar series has been organized. I'm very happy, Mr. Asim Rawat. Today, you talked about an area which is dear to our heart, dear to our village, and but due to various political reasons, and they don't want to give that much, but we have to overcome. We have to overcome youngsters like you, and I'm at the age of 70. But the thing is that the country needs rural development, rural economy, and rural India has to shine and smile and roar. Roaring is very important. If you don't roar, and I felt very happy when, even though in Sarnath that alliance was it, there is no change with respect to what is available in the original emblem, and it is what has been installed at the top of the new Indian Parliament. People should have common sense, and India has to roar. And I felt when my article in 2004 is rural India to shine, smile, and roar. I put it purposefully. It is necessary, and there is a phrase that if you have things, you go to the rooftop and shout and cry, I have this, and I know that is, people should know that, because over a period people have got, they deafened their ear and they are closed their eyes, and they don't want to speak it. And that is more important today. I felt very happy, Mr. Asim Rawat, for your talk from your open mind, open heart, and open problems, and your challenges you converted as an opportunities and potentials with the case studies. And this is very important. That's why dairy sector can be a food nutritional security and national security, national prosperity. And every gram panchayat, we need to have a dairy parlor. No milk should go in a liquid form to outside the raw material outside the Gram Panchayat. That's why myself and Dr. Narayana Hegde, former chairman, president of BAFE, the Research Development Foundation, thought that he delivered a talk, and I also quoted. I thought, we have to work on this, project, the startups in every Gram Panchayat, that the dairy product, the dairy parlor. And as a product, it should move to other urban areas and global integrations and so on and so forth, global value chain. So I will be very happy that Mr. Asim Rawat, you are as an IT person, and you have now got into application of ITs, and also that in other sectoral areas, and very important. And you convert your experience and expertise as a 3 months diploma or 6 months post diploma, and we will make your lab, convert your experience as a laboratory to train our rural students in the agriculture value chain. And please sign an MOU with the university. I will send you a copy, and then let us train to start with Uttar Pradesh and many other states, and then how that this indigenous cow and a value chain and a dairy value chain and health informatics value chain, how indigenous cow as a laboratory lab, as a commodity, can facilitate our rural economy to shine and smile and roar. It is a very important value chain, and please join with us. And I would like to thank, and I would like to hear from you final word, and then I will thank the participants, and then I will close the webinar. Over to you, Mr. Asim Rawat.
Thank you so much, Professor Moni, for your energy. I really appreciate professors who are full of energy, and basically by this you spread this energy and zeal, and the passion that you carry into your students. So hats off to you, for this lively session, and allowing us the opportunity to speak to you, and address the other audiences. I don't have much left to say. You've covered it very well. Covered all the topics. You have in-depth data and insight into this whole field. I feel really privileged to have had this opportunity to speak to you and to the audience. Thank you once again for hosting me, and I look forward to speak to you in person and more live sessions in the coming days and years. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And with this, I would like to thank our Honorable Chancellor, Honorable Vice Chancellor, and other faculty members and the participants from India and abroad, and also our guest speaker, Mr. Asim Rawat, for this wonderful day, wonderful talk, and a topic which is very dear to our heart, which can revolutionize our rural India, can generate a lot of job opportunities, and it can put more money in the hands of people living in rural India through indigenous cow, doubling Indian farmers' income through indigenous cow, opportunities and challenges. With this, I would like to close the webinar and leave the studio. Thank you very much. Thank you.